बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम नाजरीन, आज पूरे आज़ाद कश्मीर समेत बरतानिया में भी तमाम शहरों में तकारीब मुनक्कद की गई। इसी तरह की एक तकरीब लीड्स में भी मुनक्कद हुई, जिसकी सदारत साबिक लॉर्ड में लीड्स सिटी काउंसिलर मोहम्मद इकबाल ने की और तकरीब के मेहमान खुसूसी शैडो मिनिस्टर और ईस्ट लीड से मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट रिचर्ड बर्गन थे। नाजरीन देखिए इस रिपोर्ट में।
A friend, colleague is Councillor Salma Arif.
Hello, Assalamualaikum everybody. I'm Salma Arif. I'm a local councillor for Kitson and Hare Hills. I have a healthy Kashmiri community in my ward, and I just really want to say thank you all for being here. Although it was last minute, we've actually got a really good turnout. It's really important that we obviously celebrate Kashmir National Day. It means a lot. It's personal identity for people. And going forward, hopefully we're going to get stronger and bigger. Next year we're going to do a bit more, and really just want to say thank you all for being here today. Thank you.
Member of Parliament Richard Bergen, councillors, Barsad, all the respected elders of the community, brothers, sisters. Here is that on the 24th of October, Azad Kashmir, which is the independent Kashmir, which is on the Pakistani side, the government was formed. And it is actually sad that we are here today to celebrate the independence of this side. I'd say most of us come from that region. But on the other hand, I must say that it's very sad, it's very heartening to say that in the Indian side of Kashmir there are all sorts of human rights violations, atrocities. We can go on. Young people from the age of 9, 10 are arrested and put into prison.
By celebrating the day of Azad Kashmir. But let me just take you back in 47 for the colleagues who are non-Kashmiris. When the Pakistan and India got independent back in 1947 in August, by end of the 1947 era, there was an issue with the India and Pakistan. And this is where the supreme head of Kashmir, Hari Maharaja Singh, obviously had his own ways of doing the politics, even though the Muslim population in Kashmir was in a higher numbers. But he did not want to commit himself to India or Pakistan until the end of 1947, and the matters then was taken to the Indian government. It was India, and this is what we've got to remember, this is a crucial point, it was India who was taking this matter to the United Nations end of 1947. And there was 2 resolutions, one in 47 and one in 1948. What we have learned over the years, when there was a war in Iraq, the resolutions were passed very quickly. And there was an issue, there was a reason for those resolutions to go through in Iraq, because the so-called the powers of this world wanted to make the change in Middle East. It's the time now, brothers, and especially I'm addressing my own Kashmiri brothers and sisters. This is the time, let's talk more action, be it. And I look at the Shadow Cabinet Minister, Richard Bergen, to take our case. And on this note, I'm sorry, Chair, just one second. I think we should understand and realize and celebrate and give all the backing to those people who have been fighting our corner. Imran Hussain, just down the road in Bradford, as a member of Parliament for Bradford West, has obviously raised this issue in the House of Commons very positively. And I think we need more of Imran Hussain's, we need more of Richard Bergen's in this city and this region. So Richard, thank you very much, and I hope that you will pass our message that Imran Khan is doing absolutely a fantastic work when it comes to the Kashmir issue. Thank you.
He's made a strong and positive contribution to life and Leeds, so welcome on the National Day to our building. I've listened very carefully to what everybody's been saying. I think in many ways, unity is often the strength that we get. That's what us as Labour politicians learn. Unity and solidarity is the strength we have for what we campaign for. Unity and solidarity is obviously what you're reaching out to in terms of campaigning for Kashmir. So welcome to Civic Hall, and I look forward to hearing the rest of the speakers.
Represents quite a significant Kashmiri population. And when I was elected, it was an issue I knew a bit about, but not a huge amount. And I just want to pay credit to those councillors who've raised the issue. They've made myself a lot aware, and a lot of other councillors a lot more aware. And as Garth said, it's about working together on that issue that we can kind of progress forward. And I think that's done fantastic.
But my support for Kashmir and for the community here in England and here in Leeds who support that cause goes back over 30 years. Because I used to represent the ward that Jonathan now represents, Headingley and Burley, from 1982. And one of the first things I learned, apart from the politics of Kashmir, was how excellent a community and what the Kashmiri community, the Muslim community in my ward brought to this city. The way that you did work together. And
it is in what I've heard today. I'm very shocked by the situation in Kashmir, which I was already aware of, but it really brings it home to hear it again. So I'm delighted to be here to celebrate the day, and I just hope it goes from strength to strength in the future.
Solidarity, my sympathy and my commitment to some of the causes which you aspire to. I first raised this issue like Councillor Truswell in the 1980s. It's a long time ago, isn't it? And what have we achieved since the 1980s? And I remember very recently an excellent event at the Agra restaurant.
We have achieved in our life a significant movement when the people of the Jammu and Kashmir decided that they no more want to live under an autocratic rule of the Maharaja Hari Singh. And that's why they rebelled. And they announced on the 4th of October 1947 that we will decide our own destiny by our own representative, not by an autocratic ruler. As introduction, what Iqbal mentioned, when India and Pakistan came into being on 14th and 15th of August, the rulers of the state, there were 662 states in India. The British India was divided between India and Pakistan.
I would like to reiterate that we are very fortunate to be able to live, enjoy and contribute to local society here as Kashmiri community, as Pakistani community, and equally we from the Pakistani side of Kashmir are very fortunate to live and enjoy the freedom, independence we have. We don't have army shooting pellets at us. We don't have gang rapes, massive rapes, and some of you will know that I spoke openly at an event recently when at the moment the trouble is in Indian-occupied Kashmir, and there's one of the speakers over there spoke criticising both India and Pakistan, which I feel that is unfair. However, very, very useful contribution. Sardar Sahab, you have done a wonderful job in terms of launching this Kashmir National Day. We should have taken the lead, and it's you and your colleagues, Brother Amjad Nawaz and Zia Sahab, who prompted us to take the lead as a unified event. My comrade Richard Bergen, member of East Leeds.
Thank you very much. Turned out today. It's good to see so many friends, old and new, from the community. It's also good to see so many Leeds City councillors here today to mark, again, as we did last year, Kashmir National Day. It's important to mark these things, isn't it? It's important to mark them not only as part of your identity, not only as part of the celebration of what you've achieved in decades in the past, but also to reflect upon what together we need to do in the future. And I've listened very carefully to the contributions from all of my colleagues today. Is the best way for the oppressor to keep people at their feet. That's what, whether people like it or not, the British Empire did in the past. That's what the United States has done It's led to partitions around the world and the division of people. And in a simpler sense as well, that goes to how we approach the issue of Kashmir. And unity is important. Unity is important because if people are divided on this important issue, then that helps the government of India to ignore the calls from around the world for self-determination and justice for the people of Kashmir. And as Councillor Khan indicated as well, when we come together, we've got to think about what practical steps we can take, as Councillor Gruen mentioned, and that's why I very much welcome on the back of the excellent handouts, it talks about practical steps that can be taken, because as Councillor Khan indicated, or suggested or implied, the government of India ain't going to be scared when they see another photo of 10 people in a curry house in Leeds, are they? That's not going to make them think we're really on the run now, because Richard and his friends are meeting up again and saying that they want the Indian government to stop doing this. We've got to get serious about this. Politicians in Westminster have to listen. We've got to come together to celebrate the National Day today, but also you've got to think what practical steps you want your politicians in Britain to take. And what I say, and I've said before and I'll say again, it's not for elected politicians in Britain making grand speeches and grand gestures to achieve justice and self-determination for Kashmir. I think British politicians meddling abroad hasn't always worked out well, if I remember correctly. What we need to do to show solidarity as elected representatives in the United Kingdom is to ask you, what do you want us to do? Tell us what you want us to take in terms of practical steps to assist the struggle of the Kashmiri people. And then when the victory comes for the Kashmiri people, long overdue, but I'm sure it will come, then the victory will not be the victory of politicians in Britain. It won't be the victory of politicians in India, Pakistan or anywhere else. It'll be the victory of the Kashmiri people. And that's really, really important. It would make anybody's heart bleed when they hear about the situation in Kashmir. We all know, those of us who've been following it closely, the situation in recent months has got worse and worse, that the atrocities and human rights violations carried out by the government of India have got worse and worse. So what you should demand and what you should expect from your politicians in this country is that they put to one side the economic allure of India and think about what is right to do. Because make no mistake, immense pressure is put on politicians in this country not to stand up and be counted on the issue of Kashmir. Why? Because of the economic influence of India as a superpower. So I think it's really important that you encourage your elected politicians to do the right things. When I think of all the internationalist causes around the world, when I think of the Palestinian Solidarity campaign, when I think of the campaign Justice for Colombia, in all these instances, success in making the population in this country aware of human rights abuses is achieved when there is unity in that cause and when there is professionalism and commitment to getting practical steps taken. And so I do want to congratulate all those who stood for human rights issues and self-determination, wherever it may be. I want to congratulate all those who stood up for the Palestinian people, because it's become harder and harder, hasn't it, to speak out against the human rights violations carried out by the government of Israel. So I'd like to congratulate those who continue to do the right thing despite immense pressure. I'd like to congratulate all of those who have taken part in campaigning against wars, against military involvement in Libya or elsewhere. You've done the right thing, and I do think that history will remember that. And fundamentally, on this day, I want to congratulate everyone who has worked so hard to raise the issue of Kashmir. I'm delighted when I see young people from the Asian community so aware of the situation in Palestine, so aware of the unacceptable way the people of Palestine are treated in their own homeland. I would like to see a situation where young people from the Asian community are as aware and as passionate as well about the way the people of Kashmir are treated by the government of India. I want to see on demonstrations in the future, just as when we see demonstrations in support of the Palestinian people, we see so many of our young people attending. I want to see demonstrations about Kashmir where there are young people from the Kashmiri community there, out there in droves as well. That's very important. As somebody who comes from Irish ancestry, 2016 was a very important year for people of Irish ancestry, because it marks 100 years since what they call in Ireland and around the world the Easter Rising, where people who believed in self-determination for Ireland started an uprising against foreign rule, against British rule in 1916.
मसला कश्मीर के पुरअमन हाल तक कश्मीरी चैन से नहीं बैठेंगे। जब तक मसले का हल नहीं होता उस वक्त तक दुनिया में जहाँ भी कश्मीरी आबाद हैं वो कश्मीर के हल के लिए अपनी कोशिशें जारी रखेंगे। आसिफ कुरैशी, लीड्स।